Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and today I'm asking the question, how on earth is this incident with facial recognition even legal here in the United States? I have quasi-answer, but I think this really underscores a problem that we have with facial recognition and the application of it by private entities. Now here's what's going on. I'm asking this question due to a recent incident in New York City, and NBC is essentially the reporting source in here, but this is what's up. Kelly Conlon and her daughter came to New York City the weekend after Thanksgiving as part of a Girl Scout field trip to Radio City Music Hall to basically see the Christmas Spectacular show. But while her daughter and the other girls in the Girl Scout troop and their mothers got to go in, Kelly Conlon was not allowed to go. Now, that's because Madison Square Garden Entertainment, or MSG Entertainment, according to them, Conlon is not just any mom. They identified her, zeroed in on her via facial recognition, and essentially they approached her right as she got into the lobby. She was then asked to basically her name and produce identification. A sign at the Madison Square Garden or Radio City Music Hall said that facial recognition is used as a security measure to ensure safety for guests and employees. Conlon said she posed no threat, but the guard still kicked her out with the explanation that she knew she was an attorney. Now here's the kicker to the thing. Conlon, who is actually an attorney, is an associate with the New Jersey-based law firm Davis, Saperstein & Solomon, which for years had been involved in personal injury litigation against a restaurant venue that is now owned by, you guessed it, Madison Square Garden Entertainment, or MSG Entertainment. Conlon said, and I quote, "I don't practice in New York. I'm not an attorney that works on any cases against MSG," but MSG said she was banned nonetheless, along with her fellow attorneys in that firm, as well as other people there. And according to MSG and their spokesperson talking from MSG Entertainment, I quote, "MSG instituted a straightforward policy that precludes attorneys pursuing active litigation against the company from attending events at our venues until that litigation has been resolved. While we understand this policy is disappointing to some, we cannot ignore the fact that litigation creates an inherently adverse environment. All impacted attorneys were notified of this policy, including David, Saperstein, and Solomon, which was notified twice." And so I think that's very interesting, and I really do understand what they're trying to do in the sense of, like, the last thing you want is an ambulance chaser crawling around your venue looking for potential issues or, God forbid, possible clients. I can understand that, and as a private organization, they have the right to ban anybody else, anybody else and anyone that they want. Facial recognition is there, and it shows you just how accurate. If they picked her out in a lineup and immediately identified her to say, hey, that's an attorney that's suing us, that's obviously a huge problem. But now here's the thing. She's there with a Girl Scout troop. She's not ambulance chasing. She's not looking for litigants. She is simply there to enjoy something with her kid. So there you go. So on one side you can say, well, she knew the rules. If her law firm basically told all the attorneys, don't show up at a Madison Square Garden venue because you'll get kicked out unceremoniously, then, here we go. Maybe she didn't think she was part of that. Who knows? But I think it's an interesting thing. But I also think it really underscores just the danger that we have. Now, prior to this, I've also talked about essentially these social scores that we are starting to see as you walk into any restaurant that, let's say, takes your ID. So you walk into a bar, you've got to show proof of ID. And if they're scanning it, there are systems out there now that allow them to take notes on you. So if I go into a bar, with my ID, I get belligerent, essentially that puts me into a database. And when I walk in somewhere else, let's say not related, if they're using the same system and take my ID and they see this, then may not let me entry. Maybe I was having a bad night. Maybe I've, gone through multiple 12-step programs over the years and I'm no longer that person. How long does this follow you? And so if we are talking about this, when those litigations are dropped, are they immediately going to start removing facial recognition? Yeah. How do you get yourself out of that? I mean, I think they just might have opened themselves up to another lawsuit by banning an attorney frivolously. And it does seem frivolously, although I understand their position. So we'll see where this goes. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I don't think there's an easy answer to this, but it's one that I think really needs to be talked about, and as we are in a litigious society, but at the same token, we have rights, and if we are not harming anybody, including the entity itself, just by attending one of their events, then why kick us out? So I think this is an important one. We'll see where this goes, but that is your news of the day. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, and please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well, and as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private. Thanks, everybody.